Good morning, hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joey. I am a full-time work-from-home stay-at-home mom. The dishwasher is running, so I don't even know if you can hear me. It is currently 6:11 in the morning. I've already halfway cleaned my house. We're gonna finish cleaning my house and get started with the day. I am kind of like set back on doing my best. Let's just put it this way. I'm doing my best to get back onto old habits that I used to have in place that made me feel good and feel like I was on top of my life, even though I'm very much not on top of my life. I'm also sporting, I don't know if you guys can tell, a black eye that is swollen. It's more swollen than black. There are a number of things that could be from, but the most likely culprit is that I have a 2-year-old son. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. So anyway, I have gotten back on my Wednesday morning blitz through the house. I've already done the guest bathroom, the front room. I have started to tidy the kitchen. We're gonna carry on with all of that before I get started on work stuff. And I have something that I want to work on today that I think will actually be really beneficial to you as well if you are in a season of just feeling really overwhelmed. And as if you are operating from a place of defense over offense, which, if you don't know, my husband is a football coach. I know nothing about football. I've sat in countless hours of football games. I know nothing. I do, however, know the difference between offense and defense. And I also know that for about the last year, I've been operating out of defense and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel great. And I want to get back to a place of operating from offense where I feel a little bit more in control of my life. So I will take some time at some point today to sit down and share that with you as I'm doing it. So let me just make this very clear. This is not like a proven system. This is not something that I'm like, hey, this worked for me. Let's see if it'll work for you. This is me like doing it and sharing it with you. And I'm very much like, try it. If it doesn't work, back up, try something else. I'm a Roomba in this game of life. If I hit a wall, I'm just gonna back up and try a different direction. Eventually the room gets clean. So let's eventually get the room cleaned together. How does that sound? I am halfway through getting ready, but I figured while I was getting ready, I would very quickly chat you through kind of what my day looks like. So I have a little bit of help today, which I don't know if I've shared this before, but back when I first started keeping my son home, I had a babysitter come every Wednesday for half the morning, or half the day. So for the morning, Wednesdays were the only day I had help, and it was like extremely critical for me to be able to get like anything done. Since it's been a while since I've had any consistent help. Our babysitter that we typically use is a school teacher, but she's on summer break. So for right now, she's coming one day a week in the mornings, and today is especially necessary, aside from the fact that I have a lot of work I need to get done, because I have a podcast interview scheduled for this morning. So my lovely babysitter is going to take the kiddo on an outing so that I really need to organize my makeup bag, which it used to be organized. Again, used to be organized. Things just fall apart, you know what I mean? So she's gonna take him on an outing so I can record here, which is awesome. The podcast interview, I shared this in a vlog before, but this is the wildest thing to me. I've told you 1,000 times already that with the book ball, I was really planning to kind of like bail on that trip. I really had a lot of fear associated with it, a lot of doubt associated with it. And I ended up like just kind of going. I really don't know what prompted me to make the decision to be like, nope, you're going. Because it's so unlike me. Like it is that, if I didn't have any kind of accountability, meaning like somebody was going with me, the likelihood of me bailing was pretty high. Pretty high. I would say that's not the case anymore after that trip, because that trip taught me so much. But getting to that trip was dicey. It was dicey. But I decided to go, and the Uber that picked me up from the airport, meaning like this was my first like real interaction with anybody once I'd gotten to Michigan. We clicked instantly as I got in the car. We started chatting. Halfway through the conversation, she was like, do you want to be on a podcast? She has a podcast all about the hero's journey. And if you've been following anything for like the last year, you'll know how I ended up here, which is a little bit of a twisty, turny kind of road. And I think a very powerful story of purpose and faith and just kind of allowing yourself to be who you're supposed to be, as who you were designed to show up as in the world, no matter how much self-doubt you might have. And so she and I connected, and I'm gonna be on her podcast this morning. So I'm very excited about that. It's been a very long time since I've done a podcast interview. It's also been a long time since I've been on a podcast at all, because what you might not know was last year I had a podcast with a friend. We loved doing it. It was so much fun. We just stopped having time. Is that horrible? That's probably horrible, but it's just the reality of what life looks like right now. We just ran out of time. We stopped making it a priority because everything else became more priority, which is fine. That's just the phase of life we're in right now. Anyway, I'm gonna very quickly finish getting ready and get some of my ish together. When the babysitter gets here, I'm actually gonna go hole up at a coffee shop for a hot minute to get a little bit of work and prep done before coming back here and doing the podcast episode. And then this afternoon, we're actually, I won't bring you guys along for this because it's kid related, but we're actually gonna go play at a neighbor's house. Okay, real talk, I didn't end up going to a coffee shop because I had just about gotten ready to walk out the door. The babysitter was already here and Wade woke up, so I didn't want to I wanted to be the one to get him up if I could. So didn't really leave a lot of time. So I just ran a quick errand, and now I am home very quickly shoving my bathroom is so dirty, shoving a quick protein bar down my throat because somehow I forgot to eat breakfast this morning. That is not a common thing for me. I am not one of those like, oh my God, I forgot to eat breakfast. Like I was just kind of busy and figured I would just end up eating breakfast at the coffee shop when I got there. But as I just explained, I didn't get there. It's fine. We roll with the adjustments, right? Like this is parenting. This is trying to do all of the things and obviously not always doing them that great. But let me get my setup ready so that I'll be ready for this podcast in 5 minutes. Okay, let's go. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Let me... Trying to make sure all of my settings are as they should be.
Joey, thank you so much for
you. Thank you so much for having me. I agree. I get chill bumps every time I think about like how this happened and while we're here, and it's just a testimony to like having faith in the universe, God, whoever you believe in. Okay, I know it probably doesn't look like it, but it is a little while later. I have, my child came home, he ate lunch, I ate lunch, he went down for his nap. I will say, however, his sound machine in the dark, cozy room took me down. It's not often. In fact, it's extremely rare. But for some reason today, laying on his floor, so I lay down next to the bed for him to help him like settle and go to sleep. Should I do that? I don't know. Is there some parenting book that probably says I shouldn't do that? Probably. I don't care. I don't care. He likes it. I like it. It's fine. Nobody's gonna die because I lay next to my kid. However, I am going to lose a half an hour of productivity because I fell asleep and I woke up in that like jolt kind of way. And now I'm having a hard time rallying. Back in my office, I have quite a bit of work that I need to get done. And once the kiddo wakes up, we are gonna go over to a neighbor's house to play. So I won't have the time to do that. Although I'll take what I can right now. Sorry, my cat is locked in our bedroom and knocking on the door. Are those Christmas lights still up? Yes, they are. We kept them up because our kid likes them. And again, should I do that? I don't know. That was also me climbing over a baby gate. If you are my emergency room doctor or spine specialist and you saw that, no you didn't. No you didn't. Am I supposed to be climbing over baby gates? I am not. I'm definitely not. Are baby gates part of the reason I ended up in the hospital in January? Mm-hmm, sure are. Sure are. Is there a cat crying to get in my lap? Always. Always. But anyway, the podcast episode, holy bananas. I will link it when it goes live. It may be live by the time this vlog goes live. I don't know. I'll have to talk to her and find out. And not only is it such a valuable conversation that I think you need to hear, it was a conversation I needed. There were so many moments throughout our conversation that my brain was just going, and I, like, after we got off the recording, she and I were just chatting for a little bit, and I was like, that episode was healing for me. It was just so powerful, and it was really a good chance for me to kind of put into words what I've been through over the last, not just last year and a half, but like also the last decade, which, let's be real, there's been a lot of life in that decade. Oh, it was brilliant. In fact, as we were chatting after the recording, we both decided that we probably need to have another episode very soon because there were a few other things that came up that have nothing to do with like my journey or my books or anything like that. It just had more to do with realizations we need to come to as human beings to stop limiting ourselves. And it was just, you know, there are some people in this world that are energy vampires, and then there's others that are batteries. She's a battery. She's a battery, and I only know her because she just happened to pick up my ride when I got to Michigan for the book ball, which again is a whole synchronicity thing that like will have your whole brain exploding. We talk a little bit about it in the episode. She'll also be appearing on my blog in a TBD timeline. I'm releasing a series. Have I talked about this here? I don't think that I have, but I'm putting together a series called Real Women Really Going For It. And it's basically my chance to have women that I admire out there doing the damn thing and just sharing a little bit of their behind the scenes and like a piece of their heart and kind of get into their mindset with this and where they find the confidence and what encouraging words they may have for somebody else looking to just step into their truest self, and if they're looking for a new career or whatever it looks like, just how they find the courage to do that. And after we got off the call, I was like, okay, now it's my turn to ask you a favor. because I'd like to feature you. I have a few really exciting people lined up for that, so keep an eye on my vlog. I don't have a date yet for when that's gonna release because the series is in its infancy and I wanna make sure that I have everything lined up as well as I can. Apparently I'm in a chatty mood today, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what, I'm not sorry. That's why this is my vlog and I get to talk to you as much as I want to. And if you enjoy that, I am glad you're here. If you don't enjoy it, what are you doing? You should probably click off this video. But anyway, I am still like fighting the sleepies. That is insane. That never happens to me, but it got me today, man. I think there's part of it too. This is gonna sound like I'm lying to you. Nobody believes me when I tell them this, but I'm an introvert, and as outgoing and as much as I enjoy social interaction, I need like 5 business days to recover from really high energy engagement, and it might be part of what I'm feeling now. Is like I was super on, my light was on, and my taxi light. If you don't know what I'm referring to, maybe someday I'll explain that. I don't even know that I know the explanation for that, but it's basically my way of saying like I'm here and I'm ready to work and like I'm putting my best self forward. But now I'm very tired. I'm very drained. So I'm gonna try. Luckily what I have to work on is design work, and it still uses brain power, but it's like a different part of my brain. If I had to write right now, that would be nearly impossible. I probably won't see you again. Well, I might make a coffee, but then after that, you probably won't see me again until it's dinner time. So I'm gonna get some work done. I'm really glad you're here. I'm really glad you're hanging out with me and that you let me just show up as myself. That's pretty cool. Okay, this day has been next level full. I've been very busy with work. So the thing that I was talking about earlier is I think it's called like the Master Mom List. And I did something kind of similar to this in a vlog last fall, but I didn't take it to the level that I saw another creator take it to in a video. So I will link her video below because this is not my idea. She did it better than I did, but she did it in a way that is so simple, but makes so much sense to my brain. And I know you know this, if you're like an organized kind of person, there are some things that like scratch something on the inside of your brain. And there are other techniques that you look at and you're like, I can't even begin to make sense of that, because everyone's brains work differently. That's just the glory of who we are as humans. Like your brain just works differently. And this method is where you take every category that you are responsible for. Think every task, every responsibility you have, write it all down, completely brain dump it. And then you go through your list and you delete or delegate, meaning is there something on this list that you are making a priority that just is maybe not gonna fit in this phase of your life, and it's really not that important? Like maybe you're making it into a bigger deal than it actually is. Is there something on this list that maybe your partner can do for you, or if you have some older children, is there something on this list that you can delegate to an older child? Maybe you have a colleague or a coworker that you could delegate some tasks to. I don't really have that luxury because I work for myself and for a company that I don't have really any colleagues with, at least within my department. But this is universal, so it doesn't have to necessarily fit into your category of life. But I'm gonna marry this master list with something else I just saw, which again is not a new concept. It's something that I've known and done for years. I've just not really ever thought to like plug all these pieces in together. I don't know the guy's name. I watched so many of his YouTube videos. I don't know his name, but he just did a video. I'll link him down below and I'll link this specific video. I just watched a video of his where he talked about his friend who was kind of lamenting that she just really wasn't happy with where her life was at the moment. And he encouraged her to do like an ideal day and an ideal week. And I've talked about the ideal week and the ideal day constantly for years and years and years. And the concept is always very similar, and the approach is very simple, but something he did in that video that I just recently watched clicked when I was watching this other video where this woman was talking about her master mom list. And I was like, wait a second. What if we kind of marry those two things together? Take the master mom list. It doesn't have to be a master mom list. It could just be a master list of all the things that you're responsible for. You don't have to be a mom to use this technique. It just is what she called it. It's what I'm calling it now. And marry it with my ideal day and my ideal week. And look at both of those things. Look at all the responsibilities. Look at how I want my days and my weeks to look. And then plug and play these things into the ideal day and the ideal week. I think I can make it happen. It's probably not going to be something I have evidence of in this video because I'm running out of time. Like, it's already 6:30. I have my son's dinner cooking. I'm just gonna make a salad. I'm gonna make a chicken Caesar salad, I think, for dinner. I'm starving. I'm so hungry. So I'm very anxious to eat that. I'm completely and utterly just brain drained. It has been a lot. It's been a very, very heavy work day. And on top of that, I had a lot of social interaction, which is great, except again, introvert, need the time to kind of like recalibrate and not talk to people. But in my next vlog, I promise to show the progress on this. You mean on the phone to listen? Okay, I am about as tired as they come. And when I got out of the shower, I was this close to just saying screw it to the dishes in the sink because I hadn't emptied the dishwasher. And I was like, no, you have to go in there to set the coffee pot anyway. That is one favor I do for myself the night before without fail. In the last decade, I can count on one hand the number of times I've forgotten to do it. So while I was in there, I was like, just do it. You'll feel so much better. I spent all that time cleaning my house this morning. I feel so much better when I wake up in the morning if I just make this happen. Now, if I left it, would my husband do it? Probably, but he takes over child duty when he gets home. And lately, getting the kiddo to actually go to sleep has been trickier than normal. So he spends quite a bit of time in with Wade in the evenings, a lot of times to the point that I'm usually asleep by the time he gets out of there. But anyway, all of that to say, I went ahead and did the dishes, which I'm very proud of myself for. But while I was doing them, I had this thought that I was like, there is a mountain. I'm scared to even try to conceptualize how long this basket of clean clothes has been sitting on the floor in my room. But this, I feel like, is just a representation of like what my head has been lately. Like every tab open, nothing's getting my full attention. It's been tricky. So because I did the thing with the dishes. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna feel so much better tomorrow if I just eliminate the mental load that I've been carrying around with this basket of laundry, which I guarantee if I set a timer is really not going to take me that long to put away. And it just all kind of stems back to, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this while I'm talking to you, so hold on. Also, I dropped this camera earlier this week and it was kind of a bad drop. And I'm noticing that my focus has been going in and out. So I'm hoping I didn't really do damage to this camera, but anyway, the point that I was making before is that it aligns with the thought that I had with something I wanted to share. It wasn't actually during the conversation for the podcast, so this isn't in the episode that you guys will listen to if you decide to go and watch it or listen to it. Well, please don't knock my camera over. Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I'll just hold you. I'll do the laundry in a minute. But the realization that I had, we were talking about parenting for some reason, and I don't even know how we got onto this topic. Oh, no. Actually, I know exactly how we got here. We were talking about the art of the pause. And we were talking about it in the case of like our lives, but I brought it along to the conversation of like, actually, I use that a lot in parenting, and it is something that I rely on quite a bit. It originated for me with like sleep scheduling, like trying to get him to sleep through the night, and I realized how valuable the pause can be, because you're looking at the difference between a child who is, you know, waking up like we all do, shifting in the bed, maybe calling out, crying out for a hot second because he's like getting oriented with himself, and then he'll roll back over and go right back to sleep, and then you go back to sleep within 5 minutes, or you just ruined everything because you went running into the room at the first sound and disrupted his sleep. And so now you've created a problem where there wasn't one. I use it with tantrums, not for him, but for me. And I don't always do it well. I still get triggered. Like, I still have my triggers, and I did not realize how triggered I would get parenting a toddler. And so I've had to implement a pause in that so that I'm not always reacting. What I was saying with the sleep is I had said, you're creating a problem now where there wasn't one. And I brought up the fact that I've had so many friends kind of dealing with the same situation where they're struggling to get their kids to sleep or trying to figure out how to sleep train or whatever the situation is. I feel like every one of my friends had a baby at the same time I did for the most part. And we were very lucky with Wade. He sleeps pretty well. I say that. And he did not sleep great last night, and I guarantee I just jinxed myself for tonight. But they would come to me and kind of tell me what they were going... I'm also no sleep expert, so I don't know why people were coming to me, but they were. And they were coming to me and kind of telling me what they were doing or what their experience was. And I wanted to just be like, you're creating the problem you're trying to fix. And as those words came out of my mouth in this conversation this morning, her and I both just went... Because how relevant could that statement be to so much of our lives? And I've been really struggling, and I've talked about it a lot on these vlogs. I've tried to be very vulnerable and honest about it and transparent about it on my socials and things like that. But I've really been riding some kind of weird wave since everything happened last year, and I've been struggling a lot just trying to get my footing and find my place and find what is working and what isn't working. And I had a good groove going, and then I got very distracted by what everybody else was doing. And so then I started to try to shove my concept into that box, and I was not satisfied. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. It wasn't doing well. It wasn't fun. It didn't feel authentic to who I was. And it just caused me to completely stall out and stop altogether. And with marketing especially, I struggle so much with that. And she made a statement, in fact, this is in the episode, but she made a statement in the episode where she was like, I was looking at your blog and like that marketing tactic, and I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. It never occurred to me that my blog was marketing, or even like this stuff was marketing, because this for me is just me showing up as who I am and like hoping to connect with other people who need to feel heard and seen and loved, because that is something that I felt I was lacking for so long, and so I want to be that for somebody else, but also because I need it too. And this is connection. I don't see those things as marketing. I mean, I know that they are because I work in marketing. But it's very different when you're approaching it for yourself. And we were having this conversation then offline. And when I said that, she was like, Joey, but isn't that what you're also doing? Is you're creating a problem and then you're trying to fix it. When in reality, I could just do what I was doing and do what feels good to me and feels right to me as far as marketing is concerned. And that has always just been sharing my stories and sharing my struggles and sharing my victories too, because those happen as well. And I feel like there's such a connection that happens in that space. And I think I'm just gonna leave the marketing to like the book events that I do, like the vendor events, and let this be enough. And it was really, it's been an exhausting day, but it's been such a good and productive work day, but also a very good and productive, like, mental healing kind of day. And I'm just gonna say it again, because if that podcast could be that healing for the participants, and everything we were talking about was it was mostly general. Like, it wasn't necessarily, it was our stuff, but it's stuff that could be associated with anybody. It's the human experience. It's the experience of being a human that we all share in. And I need to shout out that episode. I don't know when it's going live. If it's live by the time this vlog goes up, I will link it below. If it's not, by time it goes up, I will come back to the show notes here. Show notes, look at me. I'll come back to the description here and link it. But you could also follow me on social media, because whenever the episode goes live, I'll be sure to be sharing it there. So Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if I can share it on TikTok, but I'll try to. And yeah, I'm gonna leave the vlog here. It's been a very good day. I have felt very much like myself today. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna tackle this mountain of laundry. I'm gonna feel a lot better about it when it's done. Probably not gonna take me that long. And then I'm gonna lay in my bed, and I think I'm gonna watch an episode of TV, but I'm more likely gonna just fall asleep, which is fine. But I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Bye.